Yo everyone, welcome into today's video. I'm going to be sharing with you my driving technique on how I reach the absolute limit of the grip on any car, any track, any weather, and any simulator as well. So with that being said, it's going to sound a bit counterintuitive because normally in my videos, I'm pushing a lot for driving smooth and never overdriving. But actually in this technique it involves a little bit of overdriving on purpose. You'll see what I mean by that in just a second. So this technique is also used quite a lot in real life racing, especially in the wet weather conditions where they have to get out and get on it because they don't have unlimited testing time like we have in a simulator. With that being said, this technique is very much useful if you do have a limited testing time or practice time as well, maybe because of work, school, or other life commitments. But still it will be useful even if you do have a lot of testing time ahead of your races that you want to do, because quite simply the faster you get to the grip limit, the more meaningful practice you can actually do. Obvious statement, I know. So with that being said, we're going to get straight into the heart of the video, and what we're going to start doing is driving purposely at 101 to 102% of what I think the grip limit for that car and track combination can be. Of course, this is F125 and I know this game at the back of my hand now, but just quite simply, it's much nicer for me to make this video on this game versus doing it on a different game. So with that being said, we're going to be doing today's video, of course, on F125, but we're going to start pushing the car like I didn't know what the car and track could be doing. So pushing the car in, and you can see just going a little bit late, just stabbing and getting earlier and earlier on the throttle and pushing the car around the corner. And you can see the car was never settled going through this left-hander and was always around 102, 103% of the grip limit available to us. We broke too late into the corner. The first key thing to break down here is that there's a lot of runoff area here in corner 2 of the Hungaroring. So there's a very low risk of, well, hitting anything. So this is a good corner to test on versus a corner that has a barrier directly after the braking zone or a gravel trap or grass or an object that you can hit and damage the car with. Then of course you have to be more careful with the risk that you take on those corners. But here in turn 2 of the Hungaroring, it's completely risk-free, or well, nearly risk-free anyway. It will take quite an impressive effort to hit the barrier on the outside there. So with that being said, you're going to see that we broke too late and we actually did miss the corner. The car was sliding around a little bit on the entry as well, and we never quite got back to the apex. Not that we really tried, to be honest. You're going to see that we started then getting on the power and we're starting to slide the car around on the exit. In the third person camera, it's going to show it a little bit better as well, that the car was never settled and purposely sliding around on this left-hander. And because now I know what the car is doing at 101, 102, 103% of the grip limit, it allows me to reduce it down between 1 and 3% of the pushing levels I'm going to do, and it normally would equate to about 100% of the grip limit. Of course, like I say, much easier for me to say when I've done multiple hundreds of hours on F1 2025, and would be slightly harder to get out and get on it on a brand new game with a brand new simulator. AC Evo I've just downloaded before doing this video actually. Haven't played it yet, haven't touched it, but I'm very much excited to apply this technique to learning that game as well. So yeah, as you're going to see now, we're going to do the flashback and we're going to just drive it pushing 3% less. So braking slightly earlier into the corner now, because I know what the car's going to do at the 103% of the grip limit. Now I'm able to drive it much smoother and much more carefully going through the left-hander, and I've been able to achieve quite close to the grip limit of the car and track combination and the setup limitations within 2 efforts or 2 attempts here, versus starting at 90% of the push level, then 91, 92, etc., all the way up to well, 100% pushing level. What again is completely okay. If you're looking to build up your confidence slowly and progressively, then of course that's completely okay to start at 90 or whatever pushing level that you feel happy to do with. But in, like I say, in this technique, in this video, it's more about how I would go about trying to find the absolute grip limit ASAP. And in fact, there's still a little bit of potential to unlock on the exit of the corner. So I was able to slow the car down, and you can see into the corner. It's quite nice, quite controlled, but the car is still sliding around just a little bit on the corner exit. Well, pushing around enough that it made my my voice go slightly higher on the pitch, so that's lovely jubbly. But yeah, getting back into the point, you can just see the rear axle sliding around just a little bit there, and those little bit of twitches probably equate to pushing at 100.3% of the grip limit. You know, it's not much over. The car is still in a good controlled way, but it's not absolutely perfect. There's still a loss of performance there because the car was sliding versus going with all of its energy forward to propel me out of the corner exit. Now, if I drive at sort of 90% of the grip limit, then you're going to start seeing the opposite side of the scenario and how this can end up taking quite long to build up to the absolute grip limit as well. So you can see, ignore the delta, to be honest. The delta doesn't really matter in this situation because we're trying to learn the grip versus trying to maximize the lap time potential. So through the left hander, you can see this is about 90% of pushing. What's very comfortable, very good, but if I still want to start ramping up the pace, there's still so much headroom of performance that I'm very much going into the unknown. Again, I'm sort of driving and, well, pretending like I don't know the grip level. I don't know F125 like the back of my hand, because I do. I'm just trying my best to demonstrate it and, well, help people along the way. So hopefully this video has been helpful thus far. We've got a little bit more to do and a little bit more to explain, so we'll crack on with that as well. Now going into turn 1, now we're going to start pushing a bit heavier and a bit harder and going from about 90 to about 94% of the grip limit, just being very much under the limit, fully in control of the car, and it's not sliding around at all yet, and it's going to mean that we have multiple laps to build up to that potential grip versus just getting there ASAP. So we'll do the rest of the middle sector like this, and you'll be able to see a comparison, and I'll start pushing at 102% of the grip limit. Of course, that was way under there because I was just talking, but now pushing back to about 94% of the grip limit going through the middle sector, and then we'll start pushing at 101, 102%, and just show you how I'm able to learn from that ASAP, just pushing the car a bit harder. And in this situation, in all honesty, it's a little bit uncomfortable because the car is so static, it's not moving, it's not sliding, what means a situation that I just don't know how much headroom I have or performance to go into, and it's going to be in a situation, yeah, like I say, it's just not fully comfortable to be pushing at this level anyway. So now we're going to go back to 101, 102% of the grip limit and really start overdriving the car with the, well, point and anticipation of then reducing it back down to 100%. So we're going to push this lap at 101 to 103% of the grip limit into the corner, let the car slide a little bit, so it was a little bit deep on the entry. The exit was actually pretty good, to be honest. Was able to keep the car under control through the left-hander, pushing the car in. You could just see that little bit of sliding on the entry. I want to show you in the instant replay because that's very critical, that's very important actually. Going through in the replay, and now what we're going to do, F2 to get rid of the HUD, you're just going to see that little bit of resilience to turn in the car, and that's just going to be the front axle sliding a little bit as we go into the corner. Now playing it in normal speed, and now through the left-hander, you're just going to see the front of the car just didn't really want to respond to me. Then of course I had a big kick of oversteer on the exit anyway, but showing that in third-person camera, and that's a good example of driving probably at 100 well, I'm going to say that's about 102% of the grip limit on the corner entry, and it made a situation the car just pushed wide. This is like 103, 104% of the grip limit, and that's why we had so much oversteer. But you can see, just from doing that one corner alone, I knew already how much I could brake next lap and to be closer to 100% through the left-hander, not really a corner on this year's iteration of the F1 game. Now pushing the car in, you're just going to see sliding the car around quite aggressively, but able to pick up a lot of information about where the car can be, throwing the car over the curbings. Again, we're not looking for the raw lap time on this situation, we're just trying to build up a mental image, a mental picture in our minds of where the grip can be and how we can go and find it on the next lap around the track. Into the final sector, late on the brakes, throw the car in. You can see it accepted the curbing quite well. Let's try going over the curbing here and see how much it accepts it. It does very nicely. Now you can see pushing the car out up and over the exit curbing there, now through the right-hander. So hopefully this video has made sense though. Hopefully it has sort of helped you along the way. If it has, crack-a-lackin'. Lovely jubbly, I'll be very happy to hear that as well. It's a really difficult point to sort of explain this because, yeah, like I say at the at the beginning of the video. Normally I preach, normally I push to never overdrive the car. But yeah, in some very, very rare instances, overdriving to 102 to 103% of the grip limit in the anticipation of then reducing it down to 100% pushing levels can help you find the grip limit ASAP. And like I say, this happens quite a lot in real life racing, especially in the wet weather conditions, because they don't have a lot of testing time, what means a situation that they have to get out and get on it and use this technique quite a lot just to maximize their effectiveness of being on that track at that specific point in history. But yeah, this technique is also very useful in sim racing, although in sim racing we have a lot of testing time available to us. If you can be more efficient with your testing time, then it means that you get more time to be spending on the limit, what of course means you're going to find out more stuff along the way, whether that's from a setup development or just a driver technique development point of view as well. So with that being said, I've been Brendon Leigh. Hopefully this video has been informative, helpful for you, and yeah, crack-a-lackin', catch you next video, ciao ciao, bye bye.